Former Hendrick Motorsports driver, now janitor, Jeff Gordon was furious at Ryan Newman for holding up Chase Elliott in the number 24 car when he was looking for his first win. Jeff Gordon previously drove the 24 car and was mentoring Chase Elliott. He was furious at Newman after this race.
What's that? What was happening for the leaders, man? You don't think I was racing for my own position?
I didn't say you were. I said.
Just watch what you say, man.
I said thanks for the help.
No, you said it was a Spartan. Oh, I did. You took it that way.
Keeping on the topic of Jeff Gordon, during the 2012 season, he had enough of Clint Bowyer, and it all came down to Phoenix when he intentionally crashed Bowyer, who had a shot at his first ever and would have been only championship. After the wreck ensued, Jeff Gordon got out of his car and was swarmed and attacked by Clint Bowyer's pit crew. Once Clint Bowyer found out what was going on, he then sprinted down the garage area to find Jeff Gordon. He ultimately got to Jeff Gordon's hauler, couldn't throw a punch as Jeff Gordon ran inside.
I don't blame you. As soon as he comes out of that trailer, he's getting his ass.
During the 2013 Richmond race, Tony Stewart and Kurt Busch had a little bit of a rivalry going. After the race, Tony Stewart and Kurt Busch banged fenders and bumped into each other on the cool-down lap. They had a discussion in the garage area about what happened. Both drivers were interviewed and said their side of the story.
So I don't know what the 14 was upset about. I got hit from behind. I got hit every which way. So did he. Kenseth moved us up out of the way at the end, so that's why I was upset with him. But hey, you know, everybody's free for all. We got a top 10.
The day Vickers and Kane did not like each other. Kasey Kane would spin Brian Vickers around off turn number 4 at Martinsville. A little bit later, Brian Vickers then returned the favor, trying to take Kasey Kane out in a more vicious crash, failed to do so. And a little bit later, because he failed to do so, Kasey Kane back out on the track, wrecks Brian Vickers in about the same spot Vickers attempted to wreck him just some laps earlier. Not even before the season started at the LA Coliseum for the clash, AJ Allmendinger and Chase Briscoe had an incident in practice where tempers boiled over.
Then this. AJ didn't give him enough room getting into the corner. And I'm not saying that because you're sitting here, but he had enough, I can tell you that.
I'm fairly certain AJ got the point across right there.
Tony Stewart has always been a hothead, but during the 2007 Dover race, he was extremely upset at Paul Menard during pit stops under caution. Apparently, Paul Menard did not park in his pit stall as Tony would have liked, and Tony was very displeased with Menard. He hit him under caution multiple times. He hit him under caution and on pit road. Hitting somebody under caution is one thing, but on pit road, that is a very dangerous thing to do. This is probably one of the funniest and greatest driver introductions of all time. Brad Keselowski was wrecked the previous night in the Nationwide race by Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch was hated at the time by about everybody in the grandstands. He sure won over all the fans that night.
Oh, y'all are so loving. Thank you. Kyle Busch, driver of the number 18 double mint Camry, ready to win it again.
Brad Keselowski, driver of the Penske Racing Dodge. Kyle Busch is an ass.
Speaking about Kyle Busch, him and Bubba Wallace actually had a run-in at Watkins Glen. This was actually forgotten about, but Bubba Wallace actually got cheered for wrecking Kyle Busch. They banged doors down the front stretch, and Bubba Wallace left hooked him into the runoff of the racetrack. Matt Kenseth got brake checked by Brad Keselowski after this Richmond race after the race. And after Brad Keselowski brake checked Matt Kenseth, he then went down Kenseth's car, pointed the finger at him, and walked away. I think it's really funny, too. If you look at the corner of this video, Kyle Busch is just standing there watching. It's kind of funny.
And Brad Keselowski, he was upset. That's him walking over to Matt Kenseth And Kenseth at the time leading, blocking.
Watch, Chris, as they exit turn 2, he's able just to close that door on Keselowski. He didn't run him out of room. He just closed the door. I think Brad didn't really, you're going to have emotions late in the race like this. I don't think he had really a leg to stand on that argument because Matt's leading the race. He's doing all he can do.
Watch this. The 2 just brake checked the 20 right there. And here comes Dale Jr. He can't stop. Now he's hot.
Tempers were sure flaring at Fontana. Kasey Kane wrecked Danica Patrick, and she was very upset as she showed Kane under caution. Patrick got out of her car and ran up towards the racetrack, pointing her finger at Kasey Kane, showing how displeased she was. Patrick was fully right to be upset after being turned head-on into the wall like that at such a fast track like Fontana. It is a very dangerous thing to do at tracks like that.
In line with you, pulling inside now. Inside 10 only. Pretty sure I hooked her right there, but I feel like she started coming up the track.
What did you do, just turn left on her?
Dude, I mean, just chased her all the way to the apron, hooked her in the right rear. 5 just right reared her down the straightaway. That's not good.
The Kyle Busch series, the Nationwide series. During the 2010 Nationwide series at Michigan, Kyle Busch was battling with Brian Vickers for the victory. They had been battling for multiple laps, and it was all coming down to the last couple laps. Brian Vickers was hanging on Kyle Busch's door at the bottom of the racetrack down the front straightaway at Michigan. Little did he know nor pay attention to, Brad Keselowski with a full head of steam came soaring around the outside of the racetrack, passing both of them, and Brad Keselowski would ultimately take home the victory that day. Busch was so upset with Vickers that he got out of his race car and ran over to Vickers' race car and put his head through the window, and they had some choice words. During Kyle Busch's post-race interview, you could see how upset he was at Brian Vickers.
Look, he just got beat. The 88 car was a good car. I know it's frustrating. Just got to calm down.
Let's go down to Vince. Kyle Busch finished third today. Kyle, the fans saw a great battle, but what were you so angry with Brian about?
He hung up my right rear quarter panel all the way down the front straightaway and gave the win to the 88 car. He slowed us down so much. He had no idea the 88 car was coming. And the 88 just drove right by both of us on the outside because Brian Vickers was trying to slow both of us down. Just stupid. If he would have ran his own line up at the top of the track and I would have ran my own line down at the bottom of the track, it could have been a battle between us two. But unfortunately, you race with idiots, and I guess you'll have that sometimes. But I'm sure I'm complaining and I'm whining and I'm a crybaby, but that's uncalled for. I mean, it's just stupid. I would have ran my own line instead of giving it to the third place car in order to battle it out between the top two, who deserved the win and deserved to battle the race out at the end. He didn't deserve to win.
The 2011 NASCAR season is one of, if not the most iconic season in the most recent decades. Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch even had a feud that season at Darlington. In the following week at Dover, in the press conference area, they both were taking shots at each other and explaining the situation on what they happened from their perspective. Needless to say, they both did not like each other at this point in time in their racing careers.
Yesterday, Kyle's explanation was he had a flat tire and hooked me on the straightaway. So it's kind of one lie after another. And when you hook somebody in the right rear quarter panel, that's the equivalent as throwing your gloves off in hockey. It's, that's the point where everybody's reached the boiling point.
Apparently he's watching too much hockey, but that's what you do in your own time during the week, I guess. To me, I did have a left rear tire flat, and I wasn't sure that if I turned too hard to the right to stay off of him or to get away from him, that the car would actually spin out the wrong way. My car would. So, believe that for what it's worth.
Whether I was right or wrong, they're gonna back me up, and I'll do the same for them. So that's the great part about our team, and the 18 team not backing him up. I mean, when you don't have a backbone, how can you back somebody up?